Hey there everybody. So tonight we're out in the backyard. It's a beautiful evening in Minnesota and we're going to talk about how to grill a great steak. So I got myself a New York strip here, but first let's talk about a couple of key things you want to know. First thing you got to do, buy yourself a really good quality piece of meat, right? So for the type of grilling we're going to do here tonight, I would recommend either a New York strip or a ribeye, and you want it at least 3/4 of an inch thick, all right? That's really important. If you're looking for something a little healthier, I'd recommend trying to find some good quality grass-fed beef. But if you're using corn-fed like we're going to use tonight, definitely want to go with choice or prime. And so we're going to get going here. I've let my steak sit out for about 20 minutes here to get up to room temp. The reason we want to do that, we want to temper it a little. Just like you would with a roast, you'd let that sit out even longer. I want to bring that up a little more to room temp. A piece of beef is a muscle. So you don't want to throw a cold muscle on that hot grill. It's just going to seize up on you and really tense up and drive the juices out. So we've got this guy warmed up. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to lightly brush some oil, some canola oil on it. And this is just going to help prevent from sticking, we hope. And then some good fresh ground black pepper and some kosher salt, kosher sea salt. And you notice I hold it up a little higher when I salt it. That's so the salt kind of spreads out as it drops, all right? So don't be afraid to get plenty of salt on this guy. All right? Next thing we want to do is we want our grill to be oiled a little bit. So I've got a rag that I use for grilling. I'm just going to pop a little canola oil, something that'll take high temp. My pan here. And I just want to brush my grill grates down a little bit. Those two shouldn't have any problem with our steak sticking, all right? So, again, the reason I don't salt way in advance like I would with a roast is we want to caramelize this steak a little bit on the grill. We want to get those nice dark marks. And if you salt too early, it kind of pulls the moisture out, and then your steak will be kind of moist when you pop it on the grill. And you might not get the same caramelization you want. So, let's put this baby on there. I know it's hard to see, but I've got my vegetable pan here. So I started some onions and mushrooms about 15 minutes ago. It's going to go really great with the steak. So we're going to close it up so we don't lose our heat. So another important thing you want to do now is we want to be patient. So we're going to give that about 4 minutes on one side, okay? You got to really resist the temptation kind of pulling at to see if you got good marks, because then it just sticks and you don't want that. So meat, fish, whatever you're grilling, if you do it right, a little bit of oil, you let it sit 4 or 5 minutes and you will it'll lift it right off of there, and then we'll flip it over and we'll go to the next step. It's been about 4 minutes, so let's take a look, see if we got a nice sear on this baby, all right? Oh man, is that nice. Check that out, King. I know it's hard to see, but it's awesome. Trust me. I'm going to give her a little crisscross action here. You give it about 2 more minutes on that one side, so that'll be a total of about 5.5 to 6 minutes on the one side. Then we're going to flip it over, get a little more sear on the other side. Then what we're going to do is move it over to a warmer side of the grill. And the reason I do that, you don't want to cook the entire steak at high heat. You're going to get maybe a little too charred, and you can cook it too fast. We're going to cook it medium rare, which means we're going to want an internal temp of 125 when we pull it off the grill. And if you like using a thermometer, certainly do that. We'll talk about that. I typically, you know, when I was a young chef working all those hotshot restaurants and clubs, I cooked a lot of steaks and you had to do it really fast. I learned how to do it by feel and appearance. So basically you take your hand here, you get your thumb out about 45 degrees, you feel that, when you feel that steak, that's about the same texture. When you start seeing the steak get a little shiny and it's starting to drip the juices, you're basically at medium at that point, and it's too late. You know, unless you like it well done, and why are you buying a good piece of meat if you're going to do that, right? So, but we'll stick the thermometer in there for you folks that are a little more cautious, and we'll see what kind of reading we get when we think we're ready. All right. So I'm going to flip this guy over now. Oh man, that is looking really nice. Meantime, we're going to take a look at our vegetables here. Check that out. So I got my grilling basket here, and I made some really, just threw some portobellos and some thick cut onion in there about 15 minutes before we started the steak. So that's going to be really great on top of that steak, right? So, all right. So notice I moved her over to that warm side now. It's not a cold side. The side isn't off. We're not smoking it. But I just want to turn it down just a little bit. We don't want it flaming up. We don't want to get it too charred because that's not real healthy for you. And so we'll just slow her down. I'll check it in 3 just to be safe. And let's see where we're at, all right? All right, gang, we are back. It's been 7.5 minutes. I can't take it anymore. So my steak has been sitting under its little foil tent here for almost 8 minutes. It looks and smells really good. We're sitting on a little cutting board here. So let's cut into it and see what we think, eh? Notice I'm down low. Well, I just don't want to keep changing that stupid camera, right? So let's give her a cut. All right, we'll cut right in the middle first. A little bit of an angle. Oh my goodness, that looks really good. I know it's hard to see on the camera, but trust me. So we will just slice her up. Beautiful medium rare. Okay, take it, put her on the plate. Alright, and you got some of these awesome grilled mushrooms and onions, nice and caramelized. We'll just lay that right on there. Certainly do some veggies if you want to, but I think this is good. How good is that, huh? So I am gonna thoroughly enjoy this. And one last note, what kind of wine would you serve with this, right? So with a steak like a ribeye or a New York, prime rib, something that's got some good fat on it, I'm gonna use a young California Cab or possibly a Nebbiolo, which would be a Barolo, or a Syrah. They all have good tannin. And for most of us, these younger wines that we're not spending $100, $200 a bottle on, they can be a little rough by themselves, okay? So Cabernet generally is not the most flexible wine with food, just because of the high tannin. But one of the things that works really well with tannin is fat. I'm gonna drink my young California Cab here with my steak with some fat. And I've got my mushrooms and onions from the grill, and it's gonna be a good summer. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back again. We'll talk about grilling fish in the outdoors as well. So enjoy. Have a good barbecue in summer.